Today's news highlights. Date April 23, 2025. News highlights: the U.S. Department of Commerce announced tariffs of up to 3,521% on solar products imported from Southeast Asia and actually produced by Chinese companies, preventing the use of washing origin to circumvent sanctions against China. The countries involved include Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. The move responds to complaints from U.S. and South Korean companies alleging that Chinese companies are dumping and receiving subsidies that hurt U.S. industries. The new tax will need to be implemented after the International Trade Commission's final ruling in May, but some groups are worried that it will drive up costs and impact U.S. solar development. News highlights: as the tariff war between the United States and China heats up, Ho Ching, the wife of former Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, reposted an opinion piece on April 21, criticizing Xi Jinping as a gang boss, which sparked heated discussions but did not delete the article. The article criticizes Xi's oppression of neighboring countries, abuse of the Belt and Road Initiative, violation of international law, and mocks his failure to win over Southeast Asia to resist the United States. Many countries have simultaneously cracked down on Chinese enterprises to wash their origins, showing the decline of the CCP's regional influence. According to the analysis, this move may show that the CCP's internal dissatisfaction with Xi is rising, and the diplomatic defeat may become a hidden worry for his regime. News highlights: former U.S. President Trump pressured Fed Chairman Powell to cut interest rates immediately, causing the market to worry about the erosion of Fed independence and setting off a wave of expulsion of Powell. U.S. stocks, U.S. Treasuries, and the U.S. dollar sold off simultaneously. Gold soared to a new high of $3,500 per dollar, and the pound rose to a 7-month high. Analysts warn that if Trump does fire Powell, it may trigger a major retreat of U.S. assets and shake the global status of the dollar and U.S. bonds. News highlights: the National Security Bureau pointed out that the CCP continues to infiltrate Taiwan, and 159 people have been prosecuted for CCP espionage cases so far in 2020. The infiltration methods include colluding with gangs to develop armed internal forces, setting up underground money banks to lure soldiers into joining the Communist Party, contacting military personnel through palaces and temples to spy on intelligence, using social media platforms to collude with military personnel, and approaching government officials under the guise of being Taiwanese businessmen. In order to prevent infiltration, the NSA has strengthened cross-departmental collaboration, constructed national security threat images, and improved the overall protection mechanism. News highlights: the U.S. has cracked down on Chinese solar producers by imposing tariffs of up to 3,521% on solar products made in Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Malaysia through Southeast Asia, making Chinese companies uncompetitive. The move is expected to shift $12.9 billion in orders to Taiwanese manufacturers such as Yuanjing, United Regeneration and Modi, and the stock prices of related Taiwanese factories soared. The industry believes that this is a key opportunity for Taiwanese manufacturers to return to the international market. News highlights: the proportion of self-developed chips in Apple's new affordable mobile phone iPhone 160 has risen to 40%, and the key is to import TSMC's 4nm process to build 5G baseband C1 and RF components, saving about $10 per mobile phone. If 22 million pieces are shipped, the annual cost savings will reach 7.1 billion yuan. The legal person is optimistic about TSMC's advanced process to help customers innovate and reduce costs, but due to geopolitics and other influences, TSMC's share price fell below 820 yuan, and foreign investors were oversold for 5 consecutive days. TSMC's advanced process accounted for 73% of its revenue, and it has increased its investment in the United States to expand its production capacity below 2 nm. News highlights: former U.S. President Trump said on the 22nd that the 145% tariff on China will be reduced in the future but will not be zeroed, and stressed that China and the United States must reach a trade deal, otherwise China will not be able to do business in the United States. Trump believes that the two sides can hope to coexist and cooperate happily. The White House said it was paving the way for an agreement and that the situation was moving in a positive direction. News highlights: the hip-hop group Naughty Boy MJ116 filmed the MV of the new song No No, and danced on the Taipei River embankment late at night for filming. The Thin Man E.So interacted with the Busta Steel Pipe hotly, and the scene was fragrant and shocking. Although he is a married husband, he and his team members Koharu and Obuchi devoted themselves to filming, mobilizing nearly 100 people and various modified cars to help reproduce the street style. The Thin Man has 2 daughters, and he claims to live in a girls' dormitory, and his private topic is still inseparable from parenting. The company does not respond to whether the spicy dance interaction is reported. News highlights: recently, there have been rumors on the internet that Chen Zhu is gone. The disinformation has aroused social concern. The Kaohsiung police acted quickly, and found that the author was a 44-year-old woman surnamed Chen late at night on the 22nd, and was transferred to a summary court in accordance with Article 63 of the Social Security Law. As soon as the news came out, Gao Yi quickly clarified the rumors, emphasizing that Chen Zhu, the superintendent of supervision, is currently in the hospital for stable rehabilitation and is recovering well. The police reminded not to arbitrarily transmit unverified information to avoid breaking the law. Chen Zhu's family also thanked all walks of life for their care and blessings. News highlights on the 22nd, the cycling team of New Taipei Kongqiao International School was hit by a reverse vehicle in Zhonghua Putu, and 7 students were injured, among which the male student surnamed Yan suffered a serious head injury, and the coma index was only 3 points when he was sent to the hospital, which was increased to 8 points after rescue, and his vital signs were stable but not out of danger. The man surnamed Xiao was suspected of picking up objects and causing trouble. Yan Sheng is the elite of the school fencing team. The news has aroused attention and prayers from all walks of life. Zhangji continues to treat, and the county and municipal governments have joined hands to assist in follow-up matters. News highlights at 8 o'clock. Actresses Lai Waru and Lu Jiaming held a make-up wedding banquet, and 50 tables were star-studded, but because actress Miao Zhen was drunk and out of control, she set off a storm of stealing bags. Miao Zhen mistook the actor Huang Xiaogu for stealing the bag, was emotional and scolded and wanted to call the police. Huang Xiaogu knelt down afterwards and explained that he only took the bag of happy cakes by mistake, and everyone appeased the farce, and the scene was like a real stage at 8 o'clock. News highlights Liu Kaiyuan, a well-known lawyer, was accused of refusing to recognize his illegitimate child, but the court ruled that he had already claimed the child and dismissed the lawsuit. Regarding the public opinion turmoil caused by the incident, Liu posted on Facebook late at night to express his dissatisfaction, emphasizing that this is personal privacy and does not need to be explained, and the court did not conceal his name and handled it improperly. He called on the outside world to respect the privacy of mothers and children, accused the attackers and rumor-mongers and will fight back in accordance with the law, and stressed that the children and their mothers live well, and wondered why happy events are criticized as bad things. News highlights the recent controversy over the unfreezing of the budget has attracted attention, and it has been reported that some ministerial reports have been prepared but have been withheld, triggering revelations by civil servants and criticism from political parties. The Ministry of Culture was exposed and reminded civil servants to avoid showing that the report should be written early and sent out late. The Kuomintang bitterly criticized the DPP authorities for blocking themselves, saying that the budget was politically manipulated. The executive premier, Zhou Rongta, said that all the items would be unfrozen. Democratic Progressive Party legislator Lin Zhengxian clarified that due to the confusion of handwriting in the review report and the difficulty in sorting out the materials, it would take a month to complete the calculation. News highlights: a breaking news appeared on the PTT gossip version, alluding to the poor working attitude of Korean cheerleader Lee Joo-hun in South Korea and unilaterally cancelling the filming trip, which caused controversy. Many netizens took their seats according to the details and questioned him for playing a big name. In this regard, the Daewoo Information Public Relations team clarified that Lee Sejun's professional performance in the endorsement cooperation did not match the content of the online transmission. Although some netizens continued to criticize, some people defended her, believing that the online revelations may not be true, emphasizing that she also has good reviews in South Korea. News highlights: the recent employee tour held by KMA sparked heated discussions, not only chartering a plane to fly nearly 100 employees to Busan, South Korea, but also paying for accommodation, food, and shopping in full, with a total cost of more than $4 million. Originally, he wanted to spoil employees in a low-key manner, but was questioned by some netizens that taking a low-cost airline is not advanced enough. In this regard, she couldn't bear to swallow her voice, and personally announced the details of travel expenses in the live broadcast, emphasizing the limitation of the number of seats before choosing Air Busan, and responded domineeringly to internet celebrity Joeman's message, "Next time, I can watch you unbox the A380 employee travel." News highlights: Jianing, a millionaire YouTuber member of The Millionaire, and his family were interviewed by the New Taipei District Procuratorate a few days ago, and all of them were bailed after the news, with Jianing's mother paying up to 200,000 yuan and Jianing paying 30,000 yuan, and bowed 3 times to apologize. The lawyer she appointed unexpectedly became the focus of discussion because of her bright appearance, and was criticized by some netizens. In this regard, the lawyer humorously responded that "I just feel hot and embarrassed at the moment," and emphasized that the lawyer should face the disputed case, and will continue to assist the client in accordance with the law, respect the opinions of the outside world, and not pursue the case. News highlights: Liao Jun, a 72-year-old veteran artist, was suddenly sent to the hospital due to delirium on the 17th of this month, and was diagnosed with a 3rd-degree stroke, and has now been admitted to the intensive care unit for the 6th day. The agent said that Liao Jun's current condition is continuing to be stable and he still needs to be evaluated by a doctor before he can be transferred to a general ward. He recently explained that the cooperative microfilm project will continue, and now he is equipped with medical equipment. Most of the time he recuperates, and he cannot talk for the time being, and his health condition has attracted much attention. News highlights: since the death of DS, Su Ziwan, SS family is deeply grieved, and her husband Gu Junyi goes to Jinbei's to visit every day, and SS mother can't let go, and she confided in her recent situation again this morning, saying that she couldn't cheer up after seeing the physical and mental department and taking a heart booster, so she asked the numerologist Liao Myron for help, hoping to get out of the trough with the help of physical and mental healing. SS mother's physical condition is worrying, and she only responded to the media briefly thank you, and did not want to talk more. News highlights the wedding banquet of artist Lai Weiru and national standard teacher Lu Jiaming was very lively, and 50 tables were open to invite hundreds of star friends, and the scene was grand. Unexpectedly, there was a bag misunderstanding incident at the end. Actress Miao Zhen lost control of her emotions after getting drunk, mistakenly recognized the bag being stolen, and angrily scolded the actor Huang Xiaogu, who knelt down to explain that he only took the wrong bag, and the scene was like sprinkling dog blood at 8 o'clock. The incident once caused so much trouble that he wanted to call the police, but fortunately, the goods were returned to the original owner in the end, and the wedding banquet ended in a thrilling end. News highlights when Xindian Kongqiao International School held a coming-of-age ceremony for cycling around the island. The convoy was hit by an orange passenger car passing through Zhonghua, injuring 7 students and 1 supply truck driver, including a 15-year-old male student. The son of artist Jia Yongzhe was also at the scene, although he was not injured, but witnessed the accident. She reported her safety on Facebook and condemned the perpetrators, but some netizens provoked messages, and she responded in person, speaking up for her children and classmates. News highlights Japan's weekly Wenchun trailer will release the indecent photos of the super popular Japanese drama heroine and big male star at noon on the 23rd, which will detonate heated discussions on the Japanese internet. Although the parties have not yet been announced, due to silhouettes and clues, Nagano Miu and married actor Kei Tanaka have been on the hot search. The two have cooperated in filming, and it is rumored that suspected cohabitation photos will be exposed, but the news has not yet been confirmed by the brokerage companies of both parties. News highlights in response to China's missiles and air threats, Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense is strengthening its air defense capabilities, and plans to purchase hundreds of Patriot 3 extended range, MSE, missiles from the United States, which are expected to be delivered in batches this year and next year, and will be deployed in the Huadong region to strengthen Taiwan's air defense. The Air Force Air Defense and Missile Command will form a 4th Patriot Battalion, and plans to create battalion-level units for the 3 newly acquired Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile Systems, NASAMS. In addition, the Ministry of National Defense will also integrate the domestically produced Tiangong-3 with the newly acquired anti-radiation UAV and other weapon systems to enhance the overall air defense capability. News highlights the Office of the United States Trade Representative, USTR, has unveiled 10 unfair trade practices related to illegal fishing in China, illegal deforestation in Mexico to expand avocado cultivation, and the European Union's tariffs on lobsters in the United States. The USTR noted that illegal fishing by Chinese distant water vessels hurts U.S. fishermen and does not effectively curb illegal fishing in neighboring Mexico, hurting the U.S. fishing market. Brazil's weak environmental regulations have exacerbated deforestation and created unfair competition in agricultural trade. USTR also stressed that if the EU extends the tariff exclusion of American lobsters, it will help level the playing field. News highlights Trump said that the 145% tariff on China is too high and will be lowered but not reduced to zero in the future, and stressed that the United States and China should reach a fair agreement and cooperate and coexist, and are currently developing in a positive direction. News highlights acute myeloid leukemia is more common in middle-aged and elderly people, with inconspicuous symptoms and rapid course of disease, and treatment must be carried out against time. Experts call for early detection and precise treatment, and hope that the health insurance will relax the payment of drugs and tests to help patients improve their survival rate. News highlights in response to the false death news circulating on the internet during the hospitalization of Chen Zhu, the director of the Supervision Department, the police quickly investigated and sent the poster to the post in accordance with the law on the maintenance of social order, reminding the public not to arbitrarily transmit unverified information to avoid violating the law. Chen Zhu's current rehabilitation condition is stable and continues to improve. News highlights Ms. Lam, a 35-year-old woman, suffered from long-term stress and dependence on sugary drinks, resulting in weight gain and abnormal blood sugar. The dietitian recommended reducing the intake of refined sugars and replacing them with whole grains and natural ingredients, so as to successfully lose 5 kilograms of weight and return blood sugar to normal within 2 months, reminding the public to develop healthy eating habits and stay away from chronic diseases. News highlights Lai Weiru and Lu Jiaming's wedding banquet was very lively, but at the end, Miao Zhen mistakenly recognized that the bag was stolen after being drunk, which detonated the misunderstanding with Huang Xiaogu. News highlights after Andy, a millionaire YouTuber member of the crowd, accused his ex-girlfriend Jianning's family, netizens reported his family for tax evasion, and the new Taipei District Procuratorate launched a search and interviewed 4 members of the Zhang family, and Jianning, his parents and sister paid bail respectively. Jianning's brother was not interviewed because he was not involved in the case, but the chicken restaurant he operated was also affected. News highlights Kaohsiung's Higuchi rice ball lease turmoil has been burning, and the landlady surnamed Xiao was accused of smashing the store and forced to quit the rent, crying and denying the accusations of the evil landlord. Netizens doxed his background, pointing out that he was involved in the operation of financial loan scalpers, and the case number was numerous, which caused discussions from the outside world. News highlights lawyer Liu Kaiyuan responded publicly for the first time to the recent incident of minor child claim, emphasizing that he had no misconduct, criticizing malicious slander and privacy invasion from the outside world, and warning that the smear will file a lawsuit to defend his rights, emphasizing that the child and mother are in good condition. News highlights on the 9th day, a car accident occurred in the 10th grade cycling circle of Kongqiao International School, and 7 students were injured, including a 15-year-old boy surnamed Yan who was seriously injured and fell into a coma. After the surgical rescue, the teenager's coma index rose from 3 to 8, and although he has not yet escaped, the medical team said that his condition has improved. The school has arranged counseling and adjustment of the itinerary to allow teachers and students to settle their emotions and adjust the subsequent cycling route to ensure safety. News highlights Gao Jie recently shared a video on social media about herself supporting the removal of Li Yangziu in Ganghu. In the video, she wears a short-sleeved t-shirt with blue, pink, red, and green contrasting colors, and black trousers, and enthusiastically interacts with the store on the street, shouting Hong Kong and Lake are removal. The recall is successful. However, because her outfit was joked by some netizens, criticizing her for looking like a CNPC employee, it triggered humorous comments from many netizens, such as "It's good to eat around and eat all the way like this, lunch can be saved." Some netizens praised her for being very cute, which made this video attract a lot of attention. News highlights New Jeans Nim, a popular electronic music monk in South Korea, came to Taetung for the first time last Saturday, 19th, and attended the 5th 2025 Monster E Thailand Taetung Electronic Music Party. He wore a robe and a bald head, and played the Buddhist scripture music "The Buddha is so handsome" combined with electronic music during the performance, and the atmosphere was warm, and the audience couldn't help but hold up the gesture of worshipping the Buddha, and the scene was shocking. In this performance, Maestro Ilshin brought a number of popular electronic music songs, such as Buddha Handsome and Rebirth in Paradise, as well as the new song. In addition to music, he also interacted with fans on the spot, especially expressing his love for Taetung fans in Chinese, which resonated with the audience. News highlights former American child star Sophie Navid passed away on April 14 at the age of 24. Police found her body next to a riverbank in Vermont and said no cause of death had been ruled out and was investigating. The obituary mentions Sophie as a kind girl who is easily hurt by trusting others, and she loves to write and draw, and her work shows her inner struggles. The family is appealing for donations to the American Sexual Assault Group to honor her memory. Navid has been active in film and television since the age of 6, and has appeared in productions such as Bella and Noah's Ark. News highlights with the rise of streaming platforms, more and more people choose to watch movies at home, and the number of moviegoers in movie theaters has decreased. However, recently, netizens discussed the best Chinese film in PTT, which sparked heated discussions. In 2022, the horror film Curse was unanimously praised by most netizens as the strongest power film, with the box office exceeding 170 million yuan, and a strong sense of shock with a pseudo-documentary technique. In addition to Curse, films such as Sedok Bale, The Girl We Chased Together in Those Years, and Cape No. 7 were also named and became masterpieces of Taiwanese films. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump said in the Oval Office of the White House today that tariffs on China will not remain so high in the future, despite being as high as 145%. He stressed that he would negotiate with China in a friendly manner and hoped that an agreement would eventually be reached that would allow China to continue doing business in the United States. Regarding the Fed, Trump noted that there are no plans to fire Chairman Powell, but hopes that Powell will cut interest rates more aggressively. Trump also said that tariffs on China will fall sharply, but not to zero. News highlights the 7-Eleven supermarket in the second restaurant of Yangming Jiaotong University announced the cancellation of the self-checkout barcode of tea eggs due to the discovery of up to 476 tea eggs unchecked in the past 2 months, and the staff will check out and strengthen the monitoring equipment. The police reminded that although the amount of tea eggs is not high, taking them away without settling the bill may still constitute the crime of theft, and can be punished by up to 5 years in prison, criminal detention, or a fine according to law. The incident sparked heated discussions among students, with some jokingly calling it an egg stealer and calling for stronger advocacy to avoid petty thefts. News highlights TSMC announced its 2024 annual report, showing that the loss of the new factory in Arizona in the United States was nearly $14.3 billion, and the gap between the profit of the Nanjing plant in China and nearly $26 billion attracted attention. Xie Jinhe, chairman of Cakes and Media, analyzed that the difference between the two comes from the stage of setting up the factory and the operation status. Xie Jinhe believes that the loss of the Arizona plant is mainly due to depreciation in the process of setting up the plant, while the Nanjing plant has been operating normally since 2015. Xie Jinhe stressed that this shows that setting up factories in the United States is not profitable, and may make Trump misunderstand TSMC's profitability in the United States. News highlights an ATR 72-600 passenger aircraft, formerly owned by Far Eastern Airlines, was chartered by Far Eastern Airlines in 2019, but was grounded and mothballed due to financial difficulties. The aircraft was later acquired by Ukraine's Windrose Airlines and delivered in 2022. However, in April 2023, the airliner was blown up due to the invasion of Ukrainian airports by Russian troops, ending its short life of 8 years. Professor Liu Yanliang of Chaoyang University of Science and Technology pointed out that the fate of the aircraft is closely related to the background of its leasing company and the war it experienced, and it has become a story of helpless unfortunate fate. News highlights: a sushi restaurant in Chi had a dispute with a customer over the charging of washimi. A couple asked for 2 servings of wasabi when they had a meal with their elders, but only to learn that the price was as high as 300 yuan at the checkout, causing dissatisfaction and leaving a 1-star review. The store countered by pointing out that it had been informed that wasabi was freshly ground and not free, and that the monitor screen and the customer's face photos were made public. The customer said that he did not hear the elders ask about the price, and accused the store of leaking personal information, and the 2 parties are currently suing each other for defamation and violation of consumer protection laws. News highlights: Guoguang Biotech recently broke out a major negligence. Internal whistleblowers accused that at the end of July last year, a female employee in charge of developing a flu vaccine illegally placed 120 white mice in the laboratory for 3 days due to a typhoon, causing rat feces, urine, and dander to contaminate the laboratory and emit a foul odor, which may spoil the vaccine. However, the employee was not punished, and the company's senior management did not initiate an investigation, defining the incident as a minor negligence. The incident has raised concerns about vaccine safety and could pose a risk to Taiwan's flu vaccine supply. Guoguang Biotech provides more than 50% of the publicly funded flu vaccine every year, so the incident has attracted widespread attention and called on the competent authorities to intervene in the investigation. News highlights: a few days ago, a potentially dangerous incident occurred in Bade District, Daowen City, when a long-haired girl returned to the community late at night. She found that she was being followed by a strange man. During the chase, the man also suddenly put on gloves, which aroused the alarm of the community. Fortunately, some people noticed the abnormality and coughed and shouted, reminding the girl to speed up her entry into the community so that the incident did not escalate to a more serious situation. News highlights: the health effects of red meat are related to the gut microbiota and genes. Red meat contains high-quality protein and nutrients, but excessive intake can increase the risk of chronic diseases, especially cardiovascular disease and colorectal cancer. Gut bacteria convert the ingredients in red meat into harmful TMAO, causing inflammation of blood vessels. It is recommended to consider red meat as a supporting role to increase fiber intake, help maintain the balance of intestinal flora, and reduce health risks. News highlights: Hsinchu City's license tax for self-use and business vehicles has been levied this year, and the payment deadline is until April 30th. About 8 million car owners in Taiwan are required to pay taxes, and if they fail to pay within the time limit, a late fee of 1% will be imposed every 3 days, up to 10%, and may be enforced. Citizens can pay through online platforms, mobile payment, or supermarkets, and can participate in the tax payment lucky draw. Owners who have already made the payment should ensure that the account balance is sufficient. For details, please visit the official website of the Hsinchu Municipal Taxation Bureau or call the Citizen Service Hotline 1999. News highlights: after the breakup of millions of YouTubers, Mr. Andy revealed that his ex-girlfriend Jianning's family was suspected of tax evasion, which aroused social concern. Jianning's family was interviewed by the New Taipei Procuratorate on the 21st and left on bail. Lawyer Jianning humorously responded to netizens on social platforms calling him a talent and shared interesting stories about the insurance process. Lawyer Gao EQ responded, "I feel very hot at the moment, and there are many people who watch me check out, thank you and praise me." In addition, netizens also discussed whether a lawyer should defend Jianning and emphasized that lawyers have the right to defend any defendant. News highlights: a 25-year-old man surnamed Lin fell from the apartment on the 7th floor of his residence and died on the spot in the early morning of this, 23rd, in Anping District, Tainan City. The incident occurred at 5 o'clock in the morning. Lin Nan was so emotional that he jumped down in front of the ambulance personnel and was not taken to the hospital. The police said that Lin Nan's family was still asleep at the time of the incident and were surprised to find that he had died outside their home after receiving the notice. The family revealed that Lin Nan had only gone out with friends the day before, and it was suspected that he was involved in debt problems. The police have reported to the prosecution for an examination to investigate the cause of the fall. News highlights: a Japanese-style rice ball restaurant in Kaohsiung was asked by the landlord surnamed Xiao to increase the rent because the business was too good, and she lost control of her emotions and smashed the store with flower pots, which caused concern. Xiao Nu later argued that she was a good landlord and derided herself for becoming an internet celebrity. The Facebook fan special M8 Drinks Honestly conducted an in-depth investigation and found that Xiao Nu was involved in the financial loan business and violated the labor standards law many times, criticized her as a loan scalper, and reminded the public to beware of the so-called loan experts. Netizens suggested that the rice ball restaurant could be relocated after the lease expired. News highlights Guoguang Biotech has recently been exposed to management negligence, alleging that it temporarily placed the laboratory rats that should be sent to the Nantou facility in the Taichung R&D building during the typhoon in 2024, and did not deal with them in accordance with regulations, causing disputes over animal protection and vaccine quality. The company clarified that all animals were cared for, no experiments were conducted, and that the animals had been transferred to a regular facility after the typhoon. There were also reports that suppliers had left lab rats at the company's entrance during transportation, causing a flood of odors, and Guoguang said it had improved the transportation process and strengthened management. News highlights the Palace Temple on Yangfu Street in Sankong District, New Taipei City, has become a key target of the police because of many public security problems involved in the case. The temple has been the scene of shootings, a waterhouse involving a fraud syndicate handling stolen money, and drug use has been seized. Recently, the police decided to forcibly demolish it to remove the source of public order pollution. The temple was identified as an illegal building and demolished with the approval of the city government to maintain social security. News highlights Zhongding, 9933, recently due to the U.S. subsidiary stepped on the thunder, resulting in 19.6 billion accounts receivable may not be fully recovered. After the stock price continued to fall to the limit, the board of directors decided to start private placement and adjust cash dividends to save themselves. The cash dividend will be reduced from $2 per share to $1 cash and $1 stock dividend, and up to 90 million private placement shares will be issued to strengthen the financial structure. Despite the risks, Zhongding emphasized that the loss of secured assets is controllable, and plans to recover the account on a year-by-year basis, which is not expected to have a significant impact on the company's net worth. News highlights after TSMC, 2330, announced the expansion of U.S. investment of $100 billion, the outside world paid attention to its investment progress. Minister of Economic Affairs Guo Zhihui said on the 23rd that the Investment Review Committee has not yet received TSMC's application materials, and said that I don't know where the card is and needs to ask TSMC. Guo Zhihui also responded to President Li Qing's statement on the United States' increased procurement policy, pointing out that CNPC and Alaska have signed a letter of intent for cooperation, but the actual progress needs to be evaluated. In addition, Guo Zhihui also expressed openness to the new nuclear energy policy. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump's latest remarks have triggered sharp volatility in the currency market. On the 22nd, he said that he had no intention of firing Fed Chairman Powell and hinted that the U.S. tariffs on China would drop significantly. This led to a sharp pull-in on the dollar, with the yen depreciating by 1%. At 7:45 Taiwan time today, the U.S. dollar appreciated against the yen to 142.66 yen and rushed to 143.22 yen intraday, an increase of 1.17%. The euro also depreciated against the dollar, falling to $1.1355. News highlights according to a study by the Peterson Institute for International Economics, PIIE, the United States could increase revenue in the short term if it implemented Trump's high tariff plan, but the long-term net income would be much lower than expected, as it would slow economic growth and trigger retaliatory tariffs. According to the study, a comprehensive 10% tariff could generate $2.9 trillion in revenue, but the final net income would be only $1.6 trillion, and could cause a decline in GDP, employment, and wages, and hit agriculture and manufacturing hard. The Trump administration has emphasized that the tariff policy is for the benefit of the United States and is engaged in trade negotiations with many countries around the world. News highlights the Keelung District Prosecutor's Office investigated the forgery of the letter of dismissal of Kuomintang legislator Lin Paiziong, and went to his residence at 6 o'clock in the morning of the 18th to ring the doorbell to clarify the authenticity and was criticized for harassing the people. DPP legislator Chen Peiyu questioned Justice Minister Zhang Mingqian about whether it was in line with normal procedures, and Zhang said that he considered the living habits of Keelung people, but this statement was questioned. Chan stressed the need to publicly appeal to the prosecution unit to avoid disturbing the public, and stressed that the investigation should be conducted in a more appropriate way. Chairman Wu Zongxian also thought that Zhang's response was inappropriate. News highlights former President Chen Shui-bian said in a recent lecture at the Kita Grand School that liquidation is not the best way to deal with opposition forces, and that democracy should respect minority voices and should not label others as fellow travelers with different opinions. Chen Shui-bian said in a Facebook post that he had been persecuted by the Kuomintang in the past, and now he was sent out by the Green Camp, lamenting that he did not know what time it was. He further explained that democracy should be inclusive of pluralistic opinions, giving examples of past and present controversies. News highlights since its opening, Ghibli Park in Japan has attracted attention for not being open for commercial photography. Recently, the $1 million YouTube channel What Are You Going to Do This Week caused controversy over the filming of the Ghibli Park video that was not closed for profit. Team member Ariel then explained in person, saying that the video was found to be in violation after it was uploaded, and the video has been removed from the shelves, and all the accumulated proceeds will be donated to the Totoro Foundation, a non-profit organization in which Miyazaki participates. She promised to be more compliant with the photography norms of various attractions in the future. News highlights: in 2006, 5 brothers and sisters were found dead at home, with their hands tied behind their backs, their heads wrapped with duct tape, and distress notes and poisonous plants left at the scene. Parents Luz Haikan and Lin Zhenmi disappeared, and the case was once unsolved. 9 years later, the bodies of the two were found, and the medical examiner confirmed that they had committed suicide by poisoning. Photographs recovered from digital cameras show the two as killers, but the motive remains unresolved. After the case ended, there were many supernatural incidents in the murder house, including the residents hearing the shouts of children, which added to the strange atmosphere of the case. News highlights: a 35-year-old man revealed that he and his wife bought a new house of 16 million yuan in Taichung, and received a down payment sponsored by their parents, but the monthly mortgage of 40,000 yuan and living expenses made him feel a lot of pressure. The total monthly salary of him and his wife is about 86,800 yuan, but the mortgage has accounted for nearly half of his salary, making him complain about the difficulties of life. Netizens have had mixed reactions to this, with some criticizing the disproportionate choice of overpriced houses, while others suggesting that they should consider selling their homes, choosing second-hand houses or part-time jobs to reduce stress. News highlights: Japanese actress Nagano Miya was revealed to have an indecent relationship with 40-year-old actor Kei Tanaka, and at the same time had close contact with Korean actor Kim Moo-jun. Nagano and Kei Tanaka met while filming a movie in 2021 and started dating in 2024, having been photographed dating together, and the man had the backup keys to her home. In addition, Nagano and Kim Moo-jun were photographed returning to her home together in mid-April and staying for 2 nights. Kei Tanaka, who was photographed having dinner with Nagano and spending the night, denied the affair and said he stayed overnight because he was drunk. News highlights: actor Jo Yushin not only recently formed his own studio and launched a new song Blueskis and Heartaches, but also ushered in new progress emotionally. His relationship with Kei Yeonjaeun was exposed, and Kei Yeonjaeun is known for playing Kikai in the movie version of Spicy Fresh Master, but he also made the news because his parents were involved in fraud cases, and was criticized by netizens as the most beautiful female liar on the surface. On April 16, Jo Yushin and Kei Yeonjaeun returned home together after a party at the restaurant, and the two spent about 3 hours with friends and chatted at the door of the restaurant. News highlights: A Lee and Choi Si-hoon, a sweet couple who officially made their relationship public in March 2024, held a heartwarming and romantic wedding in Seoul on April 20. Kui Shigsun recalled emotionally after the wedding, saying that when he saw the bride walking towards him from a distance, his heart almost exploded, and his eyes were moist. He confessed to A Lee affectionately, "My beloved wife, Lee Yejin, our love story will continue forever." A Lee also thanked all her family, friends, and fans who supported her and said that she would strive to live a happy life. The couple has completed their marriage registration since August 2023 and officially became a legal couple. News highlights: former legislator Tsai Chung-won criticized the KMT for making 4 major mistakes in the recall case, pointing out that it is difficult to succeed because the party does not have enough votes and the People's Party has no intention of supporting it. He believes that the DPP took advantage of the opportunity of the KMT's proposal to topple the cabinet to split the KMT and undermine the morale of the KMT. He suggested that the KMT should revise its strategy to avoid being reversed by the DPP and concentrate on the core issue of the general recall. News highlights: former President Chen Shui-bian mentioned in his speech on the 19th that different opinions should be respected and people should not be labeled as XX fellow travelers at will, which caused dissatisfaction in the Green camp and Facebook was flooded. He later posted that the KMT had also labeled dissidents in the past. According to media personality Huang Yangming, Chen Shui-bian's move is to remind likinged and challenge those in power, promote the principles of conflict, compromise, and progress, and attempt to stimulate the political process, and reveal that the Bian case may be tried again. News highlights: the Pingtung Management Office of Taiwan Water Supply Company found a water leak at 8K650 on the 26th line in Taiwan, and it will be repaired from 9 a.m. on April 23 to midnight a.m. on the 24th, and the water is expected to be cut off for 15 hours, covering 10 towns and villages in Pingtung County, with a total of 46,970 households. Ryukyu Township implements depressurized water supply. It is recommended that residents store water 6 hours in advance to avoid water grabbing and affecting the water supply of end households. The water outage area includes Linbian Township, Donggang Township, Jiadong Township, and other places. News highlights: the whole Taiwan set off a general recall, and the second-order joint signatures of the recall case of the Blue Committee News Yuding and Tu Quanji have reached the standard, and the poll shows that News Yuding agreed to recall 39.6% and Tu Quanji 42.6%. The cross-analysis found that more than 80% of those with high voting willingness in the two constituencies agreed to the recall, indicating that voting willingness is the key to the success or failure of the recall. According to scholars' analysis, the Daewon blue and white demonstration zone is fading, and the participation of young voters and foreign voters will be the key to future elections. News highlights: a fatal car accident occurred in New Taipei City, where a 74-year-old woman was rammed by a 25-year-old motorcycle rider after running a red light and crossing a double yellow line while crossing the street. The woman suffered serious head injuries and was pronounced dead 3 hours after being taken to the hospital. The alcohol test value of the driver who caused the accident was 0, and the preliminary investigation by the police believed that the woman suddenly crossed the road and caused the accident, and the responsibility for the accident is still to be investigated. Police reminded the elderly to wear bright-colored clothing and obey traffic rules when going out at night. News highlights: the Transport Safety Commission released the 2023 Shinshu Yeokan Technology Co. Limited Employee Travel Car Accident Investigation Report, pointing out that the driver only slept 4 hours the night before, resulting in short-term sleep deprivation. At the time of the accident, the driver was in a trance and could not concentrate, causing the tour bus to deviate from the lane and collide with the passenger car, resulting in 4 deaths and 22 injuries. The report pointed out that driving with drugs may exacerbate their symptoms, and recommended that the management of tour bus drivers and rest time regulations should be strengthened, and the installation of identification devices should be promoted to enhance driving time management. News highlights this morning, 23rd, strong winds blew in Mialitofan City, and even formed a tornado. The strong wind was amazing, causing the night and the car to be blown down, the surrounding iron roofs were lifted off, and debris was scattered. The Meteorological Department issued a special report on strong winds on land for 6 counties and cities, and reminded that there may be sustained winds above level 6 or gusts of level 8 in Orchid Island, Dawan, Hsinchu, Pingtung, and Penghu. Outdoor activities are reminded to pay attention to safety and avoid being exposed to strong winds, and it is recommended to slow down. News highlights: according to a study in the United States, as many as 9% of the toothpaste on the market contains heavy metals such as lead, which shocked the world. The study tested 51 toothpastes for adults and children and found 90% lead, 65% arsenic, and nearly half of them contained mercury, even for well-known brands. Green groups have pointed out that natural ingredients such as bentonite may cause heavy metal pollution. According to the Food and Drug Administration of the Ministry of Health and Welfare, if toothpaste contains heavy metals, the residue must meet the legal standards, and offenders will be punished. Experts recommend spreading toothpastes and choosing all natural products, as well as providing proper brushing methods to protect your dental health. News highlights: in the Shuang Bay area, where the bus network is dense, the 307 bus, which is jointly operated by Taipei Passenger Transport and Capital Passenger Transport, has been the revenue champion for many years. This route starts from Zhuangjingli, Songshan District, Taipei, and ends at Bangqiao, New Taipei, crossing densely populated areas such as Songshan, Zhongshan, Zhanghe, and Bangqiao, and passing through Taipei Main Station, Ximending and other business districts and transfer stations, with high demand for commuting and sightseeing. With a wide range of coverage and intensive shifts, it has won the first place in revenue for many times since 2003, and is the most profitable king of buses in Shuangbei. News highlights: the T-Pass 2.0 frequent flyer discount will be available from February 2025, and e-ticket users who have completed the registration will enjoy up to 30% of the ride rebate if they take public transportation such as buses and passenger transportation more than 11 times in the same month. Rail transport is increased by 2%. There is no additional charge for the event, but you need to complete the card registration at the designated website first. The rebate will be available at the 4 major supermarkets from March 25 and will be valid for 1 year. Those who purchase a T-Pass commuter pass can also accumulate rewards for their travel records outside of Kaibei Baitao.